What's up, people of YouTube? Lunar Spiral 1127 here with Bleach chapter 478, The Lost 3. I know this chapter came out like a couple of days ago, but I couldn't make reviews because I, got sick day after Christmas, which sucks. But, it's better late than never, right? So let's get started with Bleach 478. This chapter starts off with Tsukishima, who's like out in the middle of the field, bleeding, crying, yelling out to this guy. He's like, "Why, Ginjo? Why did you have to die? Why did you leave me?" Wah, 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 wah. Seriously, I could hear the Simple Plan song from the background. I know I'm supposed to feel sorry for him, but I don't. I don't know why. And he's still not dead. He's coughing up blood and he's still not dead. And anyway, he sees Shishigawara, and he's like, "I see. That's it. That's the way things ought to be." What? He just looks at Shishigawara, and he was like crying for a minute there, because Ginjo's dead, and now he's like, "Oh, Shishigawara. Oh, I see now. Yeah, that it has to be this way." It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, right after that, we cut to Yukio walking away. I guess he escaped from that ice prison of his, or either that or Toshiro let him go. Why, I don't know. I guess, with Ginjo dead, no, the rest of the execution members are no longer a threat. That's all I could possibly think of. Anyway, he's just walking by, he hears a voice, and it turns out Jackie. Yeah, Jackie is alive. Somehow. Didn't she kill herself with that explosion? I mean, why is she alive? I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Jackie is a decent character and all, but the way her death was built up, it seemed pretty... her death was pretty decent in a way, how it was built up. Also, another problem I'm having, why is there no flashback? Last week's chapter, at the end, it was built up to be a flashback for 478, and now no flashback. Why? No backstory on Ginjo? He's just dead, that's it? Not knowing how he met Tsukishima, how he formed Execution, how he discovered Fullbring, why he left Soul Society? Nothing? Really? Anyway, moving on. Yukio sees that Jackie's boots are dirty, then he notices that her Fullbring is not active. So she lost her Fullbring from that explosion? How? That huge explosion was sacrificing her Fullbring just to save Renji? That doesn't make any sense. What? How does that even happen? How did she lose her Fullbring? Well, anyway, moving on. Yukio notices that Jackie loses her Fullbring, and she's like, yeah, which was a good thing because she hated the Fullbring, but she says something like, the only things linking us together were our Fullbrings. They probably realized that earlier. So the only thing they had in common was their powers. Oh, and also, Kiriko is dead. Not surprised, because Kenpachi cut him in half. Although it would have been pretty annoying that he would have came back to life. Anyway, Jackie says, she buried Kiriko, so no more seeing Kiriko. That's it. I don't get what she meant by the fact that they're linked together by the Fullbring. I guess because, in a way, the only thing they had in common with them was their Fullbring. Well, anyway, Yukio, walks away. Jackie's like, wait, let's go together for a while. He's like, no, give me 3 years. I'll grow up in 3 years, I'll make the company 3 times large, then I'll come back. I'll come back and let all of you work for me. It makes sense. Anyway, we cut to Urahara's shop, and of course, Spiruka is alive. Not surprised. I mean, it's just a cut. She'll probably survive. She would have survived by that. But this, okay, this has to be one of the stupidest things that Ichigo has ever said. Ichigo tells Ruruka that they couldn't find any of the other execution members. Bullshit. Bullshit, okay? Tsukishima was there. Yukio was there. Ginjo. I can understand Jackie and Shishigawara and Kiriko because they weren't there, but couldn't find any of the others. Tsukishima and Ginjo was there. Yukio was there. Why did they even let them go? What? After everything they did, what? Let them go? Why? This doesn't make any sense. Am I missing something here? Oh my god. And then we cut to Orihime, and she's like crying because Ruruka is alive, but the rest they couldn't find. I know everybody's gonna complain because Orihime is crying and all, but hey, at least she cried twice so far in this arc. And I'm okay with that. I mean, rather twice than what she was doing lately during the Winter War arc. That was pretty disappointing in that. Anyway, Ruruka asks what happened to Tsukishima, and Orihime is like, wait, who's Tsukishima? So, I guess Tsukishima's full brain has been either deactivated because Tsukishima deactivated it, or he's probably dead. That's all I could think of. I have no idea what else is that. And because of this, I guess Ruruka realized that Tsukishima might be dead, and she starts crying. And then it cut to Shishigawara carrying Tsukishima. He's like, good, you didn't die. Oh my god! I'm sorry if I sound pissed at this, but Tsukishima should have died. Why can't he die? He should die already. Hole in chest, no heart, should have died. Plus he was covered in blood and ah! Why is this making me so angry? Oh my god. Anyway, they're just like walking. Shishigawara is like telling him, Tsukishima can't die because he's the most powerful one ever. You're invincible. Bullshit. He's got a hole in his chest. He should have died. And he's like, I see it now, Ginjo. It's only after you died that I was able to realize maybe you knew all along. Realize what? What did he realize? Maybe he realized that he wasn't alone? That he still has Shishigawara? Anyway, they just like keep, and Tsukishima's just, no, not Tsukishima, sorry, Shishigawara is just like carrying him, walking up towards the sunset, which apparently the sunset is just a big giant white background. So, and that's it. Oh, and apparently the thing he realized was that he was never alone. That's the chapter. That's it. Oh man, this chapter, I gotta say, was really disappointing. This was worse than last week's chapter. I mean, I thought there was gonna be at least a flashback arc for the execution members in Ginjo, at least learning more about them, but instead it's just, yeah, we're just gonna let them go, and we'll never see them again. This chapter, it was obviously disappointing. Maybe if this was the ending to the Lost of Tsushinigami badge arc, then it's gotta be one of the worst. It's actually worse than the ending to the Winter War arc. Yeah, I said it. This is worse than the Winter War arc. Well, the ending at least. The arc overall, it's okay. It had its good moments, but it also, most of the time, it also had its bad moments as well. Maybe next week's chapter, maybe a flashback, or maybe moving on to the next arc, whatever that is. I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up, but after what happened, but hey, at least the execution members had a proper send-off, unlike the Espada, right? All of them dead except Haribel, which we didn't know until it was released in a data book. Couldn't even write that in the manga. So yeah, this is definitely not the best chapter to end 2011 for Bleach. So I'm gonna give this chapter. I'm giving this chapter a 6 out of 10. I mean, I did like the drawing and all, but when it came to the conclusion, it was really disappointing. Too many plot holes has been left out. I don't know if Kubo is gonna include anything for next week's chapter, for first chapter 2012. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, this is Bleach chapter 478 and Lunar Spy 1127, and I'll see you guys later.